Good morning, Physics 1 students. I'm going to walk you through parts of the notes. I'm not going to do everything for you. What I'll do is I'll explain part of it. I'll then pause, allow you guys to work on your own or in your tables, and then we'll go over the next part. And the substitute will be pausing the video at times to give you guys a talk. At certain times I'll say talk amongst the class, or I'll say talk at your tables. I'll just have you do whatever that is. So whether it's having people called on in the class to talk about your answers, but generally you'll start with small groups and we'll go from there. Alright, number one, so what is work? What I want you to do is open up your books, and you can go ahead and go back and get them if you need them. But open your books to page 110. 110 to 112 is where you're going to find the section on work and the section on power. For starters, I want you to read the section of work on your own, and I want you to tell me what it is, what the equation is, and what the unit is. Now for the unit you'll have to be a little tricky and a little careful when you're reading, but read through that section. I'll have the substitute give you about 5 minutes or so to read on your own. Okay. Now that you've read the section on your own and gotten your answers, I'm having you talk at your table for 1 minute to talk about what you guys have and check your answers with one another. Go ahead and do that now. Great. So, now that you've talked about what work is and talked about the equation and the unit in your group, now let's take some examples and see if you can figure them out. So, based off of your examples, based on your definitions you had for work, I want you to look at the following 3 examples in number 2. So for each example, decide if the work is being done on the object and explain your choice, why you think it is or why you think it isn't. Okay? So for this one, I'm going to have you guys talk at your table with your partner and do them together. So the first one, A, says a bodybuilder is lifting 1,000 pound weight above his head. So do you think he is or is not doing work? And why do you think that's the case? So I'm going to have the substitute give you about 3 or so minutes to talk about and answer those 3 on your paper. Go ahead and do that now. Now that you guys have talked about it at your tables, I'm going to have you guys talk about it as a whole class. Okay? Either the substitute can take volunteers, so if some of you would like to answer it, feel free to do so. It would be very helpful to me and to the whole class. Otherwise, I'll have them call on the table, and I'll have you give your answer to the class so that everyone can kind of check and make sure everyone is on the same page. Again, keep in mind what is the definition of work and what is needed for work to happen, and that will help you decide on the answers to those 3. Okay, go ahead and do that now.